Hmm.
You are listening to the Forbes Factor. To question or comment, send an email to Forbes@ForbesRiley.com. Now back to the show. Here's Forbes Riley.
Hey everybody, it is Forbes Riley. As I said, normally we make evergreen episodes, but this is October 9th, 2024. I'm in California for the premiere of my movie Black Creek. I'm hanging out with my hubby, my beautiful man, Joshua Self, who's in the eye of the hurricane, and Deana, who's not far away from him, also down there in Florida. So we're just gonna do this rallying, this love fest, and kind of push all the winds somewhere else. I don't know. Deana, how long have you lived in Florida?
About 19 years now.
Yeah, ever seen anything like that?
19 years. No, it's crazy. When 9/11 happened, I think I just wanted to get out of the city. I didn't want to go to the city anymore. So I moved down to Florida, and right when I moved down, Charlie hit. So I found myself leaving my house because of a hurricane. But I think as you live here and you follow the news, you follow a couple of people about weather, and Joe, my hubby, is a guru of weather. So I listen to him, and you just, if they say evacuate, you evacuate. If they say, buckle down, you buckle down. So we're in an area where we're going to get some high winds, but we're okay. So you just got to be prepared.
Joshua, you're from Ohio. You lived in Vegas. Your daughter was born. You guys is living in Vegas, and now you're both in Florida. Right now, how are you feeling right now?
Well, it kind of takes me back to the time when I first came to Florida and I caught the very last flight to Tampa, which the next day was a hurricane. So it kind of reminded me of that.
Which is our love story, guys, which is kind of interesting that I'm not with him at the moment. It's very strange. I was doing, just like today, I was doing my Forbes Factor, and I had a whole bunch of people come to town before we realized it was going to be as bad as it was. They all ended up in my house. We did a 5-day mastermind in my house. Joshua and I were just dating at the time. And I guilted him a little bit and said, if you really love me or want to know, give me, you promised to be my videographer. He's like, but there's a hurricane coming. I'm like, oh, it'll be fine. He flies in and they shut the airport just as he lands.
Yep. Who knows what would happen if I missed the flight?
I don't know. So it's been 8 years and we're still going strong. And how's Alexa doing, your daughter? This is her first hurricane in Florida.
Well, she camps out in one of the offices, has a big old beanbag, so she's just camping out and doing her own thing.
Yeah.
So I got my room, she got hers, and I'm about to setting up lights, so I'm going to be shooting some. So take advantage of my time here in the studio.
Well, I just wanted to check in with you.
The kids look at us, right? The kids look to us. Like if we overreact and we're in fear, then the kids will be in fear. But if we're like, we got you, and we make them feel safe, then they feel safe.
Well, she's not a child, but yes.
She's turning 20 November 3rd. Well, I just wanted to see your face, and for everybody watching, just lots of oodles of love. Anything else that you want to say while you're here?
Not really. Hi, love you. Miss you.
I love you too. The last time the three of us were together, by the way, was on June 29th at the bodybuilding competition. Deana, you are such a great friend and such a beautiful spirit. You drove all the way in to watch me compete. Before I let you go, before I let Joshua go, what was that experience like for you?
It was awesome. It was inspiring because, we all have our excuses of why we're not in the best shape we're in or why we don't do the things we do. And then to see you, with all you have on your plate, doing that, and then getting the support of Joshua and just being up there and staying committed, the willpower to do it day in after day out and be up on that stage, in some cases with women 20 years younger. I just was like, you go, girl. How
about women 40 years younger? Let's get real. They were 20 years. I know, that's was like, what?
So I just was like, okay, I'm committed. So I just sent out a pocket coaching to the whole entire company saying, I'm saying this for all of you to hear. I am committed to commit to myself, to, take care of myself. I have an infrared sauna I don't use all the time. I have a gym in my garage I haven't been using. Enough of the excuses. If I'm not okay, then nobody around me, and a lot of people rely on me, are not okay. So you've inspired me in all ways.
Well, I have a sequin bikini you can borrow.
I don't know how soon secrets for eating.
No,
But
Natasha, just stop talking. Joshua, what was that experience like for you? What words of wisdom can we get as Deana wants to get herself in shape, her company? You live in shape. One of the things that's most inspiring about Joshua, guys, is that we, on an off season, we went to get our body fat scan, and he was at 9% in his off season. I came in at January of last year at 33%. I'm now down to 17%. I lost 20% body fat over the course of this year, 10 months of doing this, which is extraordinary. I mean, I feel so completely different. But you live like that, Joshua. What would you like to say to Deana as she's supporting her company, her husband, herself about staying fit?
Well, you're being fit and the sport of bodybuilding is a very selfish sport because you really have to block everything else out of your life and just focus on you and don't let any distractions get in the way of your goals. So, and that includes food and your regiment. I mean, your regiment should be consistent daily. And so just try to block everything else out. And it's hard to do, but you get used to it, and that's pretty much stay focused.
Are you
now I
surprised?
never said bodybuilding. I said I'm getting in shape. Although I
No,
will say, Joshua, Joe has been using the method that you taught him, and he says of all, and he's been working out for many, many years, and he said he has never seen better results doing what he learned from your course, like hands down. So
As expected.
thank you.
as expected. Well, I'm going to say the same thing. You know, there's a new TED Talk out, Deana, that you should listen to by a woman doctor about we don't have an obesity problem, we have a lack of muscle problem. And she talks about the fact that strength training, resistance, and building muscle on your own body is your best defense from immune disease, from accidents, from all the things that can, that can happen to your body. Joshua, are you surprised that more people aren't fit or at a level of fitness? They just, because we will look around all the time, we just see people who've let themselves physically go, and it's everywhere. It's an epidemic.
Yeah, I think it's lack of education for one thing and lack of drive. A lot of people don't care too much about their life or their fitness because they got so much else going on in their lives trying to make ends meet and so forth. And by the time they get home from work, they're too tired to go to the gym. So, and that's their lifestyle. But their lack of education, not knowing how important resistance training is to their health, will affect them in their long run. And you can't force them to do anything, and you can't force somebody to learn anything. I mean, like my mother, she's very stubborn when it comes to food, and she makes me feel bad because she's like, "Oh, my food's not good enough," and I'm like, "Well, no, not really, because you don't. The food you buy is not quality meat, and so." And she doesn't want to, and she's just stubborn. And a lot of people are that. They get stuck in their own little ways and they don't want to deviate from it. So what's going to happen? They're going to grow old and they're going to grow sick and get disease or cancer or so forth and eventually die. So I think that you should try to grow old as gracefully as possible, but as healthy as possible, and try not to get cancer or some type of disease because it's not just gonna affect you, it's gonna affect all your loved ones and friends. So it's not just about you, it's about them as well.
And they're just thinking about today, right? They're not, my father-in-law said this when he ended up getting pancreatic cancer and was really sick. He said, I wish I could go back and take better care of myself. But once it's there, you can. So I think that's another thing. It's like, well, for today, let me eat the McDonald's. Let me do this. I'll worry about it tomorrow. But then tomorrow you have the same mentality of that day. So I think
Right.
it's
And
that, and the bigger epidemic, which is our food industry. Other countries get better food than we get because our government's not fighting to take out the dyes and all this other crap in our food. They're just not fighting for it. So it's just the cheaper food is the bad food,
yes, correct.
right? The
And
healthier and
luckily,
organic food is more expensive.
and hopefully RFK will come in and help with that because I know that's one of
Yes.
his goals is to do that. But I always think of it
Yeah.
as like the dentist, like your teeth. And I'm the same way. I don't take care of my teeth, and then you just let them. Then you get cavities, and then you're like, oh, I should have taken better care of your teeth. And it's kind of the same way with your body, with your muscles, because it just takes so much more time and effort and dedication when it comes to building muscle. But resistance training is by far the healthiest thing you can possibly do besides just eating right,
We live in
eating
a
good
world where
foods.
people want immediate results. They
I know.
don't, 6 months, they want it right now.
Well, I
Yep,
don't think
that's where the Ozempic, that stupid pill, people want to just quick fix.
Well, Josh, I'm gonna
Yeah.
say I'll let you take care of all the things you've got to do. It's wonderful seeing your face. For those of you who are watching, you can check it out on YouTube. Big hug, mwah. Give my hello to Alexa, and we'll be
Bye,
watching.
Deana.
Bye,
Hi,
my
good
baby.
seeing you.
Bye.
All
Same
right,
here.
my girl. It's heartbreaking. I look at him and I'm like, I just want to give him a big hug. I don't want them to be in the eye of a hurricane. Definitely a little stressful over here. So I'm looking at this number, this NASDAQ thing on the top of your screen. You have taken your company, which is insane, public. What does that mean?
Yeah, so Joe, and Joe back in 20 years ago started La Rosa Realty, right? And he was an agent, he worked for other companies, and then he realized that like it wasn't age eccentric, it was all about the broker. And he's like, the agents are out there working really hard, long hours, doing everything for their clients. He wanted to turn it around and be age eccentric, which truly means just what can he do to build value for the agents? So, and in that time of 20 years that La Rosa Realty has been around, he had to, when the market crashed, he had to go and he started building other people's companies. He only had like 50 or 100 agents. So, when we got together, we started building that out, right? Having commercial and property management and coaching company. So it got really exciting. And Joe came to me one day and he said, listen, we kept getting offers to be bought out by other companies. And I said, no, like we can do this ourselves. Like we don't want to be bought out. That's not a legacy. So then he came to me one day and he said, I want to take the company public. And I said, well, what does that look like? So basically I'm saying, okay, so you're asking me to take all the financial security we built going through the market crashes and the pandemics that we've secured for our family with 5 kids. You're asking me to put that on the line. Like, okay, why? And he said, because all these agents, all of our employees, everyone on our team that has stood by us through the good and the bad, the valleys and the peaks and everything, if we exit one day, what do we leave to them? He said, this is the legacy where everybody can benefit. I said, I'm in. So that's what we did. I made that decision. I said, good or bad, it's going to be hills and valleys, and we thought of every agent, every employee, everyone that we have within the company, our family, right? That's our pillars, family, passion, growth. So I'm like, okay, this is our family we're going to take care of. We are passionate about taking care of them, and we are going to grow this company so that everybody one day can retire off our stock. And if you look at our stock today, it doesn't look that way. But again, we're resilient. We've been through the ups and downs, and we know our value and we know what we're working on. So we are just going to keep, we wake up to it, we go to bed to it. We are going to leave that legacy where everyone that stood by us is going to benefit one day and be able to have that American dream of retirement, financial security.
You are absolutely amazing. And I only have 2 minutes left of today's show. What does it mean to be a successful working mom in business? How do you do it all?
Balancing that. It's just being present in the moments that you're there. Like when I'm home and my kids will remind me, Mom, did you even hear what I said? And I'm like, no, I didn't. I'm sorry. My mind was off here. So it's just like I try and just be intentional with my kids, paying attention to what my kids' needs are and my husband, right? And then
Deana,
in work,
last 30 seconds of the show, your hope for the world.
It's just it hurts me when people think there's a lack of hope, right? Anything is possible if you put your mind to it. You just can't quit. You're always right there at the wall of where like the diamonds are, right? When you got that axe in your hand, if you quit, you don't get there. So just don't quit. And I guarantee you will get there. So I just want everyone to be filled with hope, support each other, and let's know that we were meant for greater things than we even think we are meant for. There's so much out there, even in these times.
And this is why I cherish this friendship. She's one of the most amazing friends that I've ever been lucky to encounter. And if you're lucky enough to know this woman, invest in her stock. How do we get in touch with you?
You can check me out on Facebook at Deana La Rosa. You can go to La Rosa Realty, or you can email me at Deana, Deana, very unique, at larosarealtycorp.com.
I love you. Be very safe during the hurricane. We got about 5 seconds left, guys. You're listening to the Forbes Factor. Thank you so much for this episode, and look forward to next week to find out all that has happened. Bye, everybody, and thanks for watching. or
Bye.
listening.